every week I'm picking a different streaming service to recommend things from, and this is the week of the month, I guess, that I talk about Netflix. Now, these list was helped from SinRam, a good friend of mine who's unfortunately working tonight. I will list off his recommendations later. Obviously, I will have a video of him talking about his recommendations when you see this tomorrow night as a segment. But I wanted to list off films that I thought were really cool on Netflix, and I found a lot of good ones this time. And if I have the reviews of these various movies, they will be linked in the description next. There will just be a list of these, so if you want to find them, you can. Now, I saw Avatar: The Last Airbender is now on Netflix, so I will bring that up. And Nathaniel Foga, thank you for being for the punch there. Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's a great show. I need to sit down and watch more of it and watch it in order, and I really haven't gotten to really sit down with it in a long time, so I need to do that. As well as, even though I recommended this on my last Netflix recommendations, I will bring it up again that Mystery, and it's the only one I am, Mystery Incorporated, which I think is the best Scooby-Doo show, is on Netflix. You should check that out, as well as What's New Scooby-Doo, which Sophie was watching today. I think that's more age-appropriate than Mystery Incorporated, even though I know she likes that show. Hail Caesar, which I quite liked. It's a later Coen Brothers movie. I know a lot of people didn't like it. It made my top 10 of that year, and I think it's fun. It's kind of talking about that period in Hollywood. A big favorite around my house is Princess and the Frog. Princess and the Frog, we watch it at least once a week. I know it's also on Disney Plus, but it is still on Netflix. So if you don't have Disney Plus and you want it, if you've never seen Princess and the Frog, get on that. It is a great movie. It's done by John Mosker and Ron Clements. It's a great New Orleans movie. It's just a really great I think it's top tier Disney for me. Scott Pilgrim, I think you've all seen it, but if you want to see it again, it's on Netflix. Another one, The Florida Project, which I thought was a really great movie about kind of the town that exists right outside of, I think it's in Florida, the Disneyland, whatever Disney park that is. That's a really good movie. If you've never seen that, you should get on that. Two that I think everyone's been told to see, but they're on Netflix, is The Social Network and Moonlight. Those are probably two of the greatest movies of the past decade, and if you haven't seen them, you should. As well as Her, which was Spike Jonze's last movie. Has he not made something since then? Jesus. Anyway, I really like that one. I think that was my number one movie of the year that year, is Her. Good Time, which was from the Safdie brothers and Robert Pattinson. That was a really cool movie. I know that was on Amazon Prime previously. It's been on a lot of streaming services, but that is a really great crime movie. And if you really want to see a real intense kind of crime thriller, that's a great one. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a classic. If you've never seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's one of the greatest directed films of all time. Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia is a weird, crazy one, but I really like it. The Witch is on there. I think I've recommended The Witch before, but I'm on one of these, but I think The Witch is a great, weird kind of A24 kind of horror film. I Lost My Body, which was their big kind of foreign animated thing. It did get nominated for Best Animated Feature this year, and I thought it was actually pretty good. I think I think a lot of you guys would really like it, as well as I think I said MFKZ or Motherfuckers is on there, which is a great weird kind of cult animated film that I've noticed has really been taking off since it got on Netflix. So cheers to them. I'm trying. By the way, one of the things with these Netflix things, and I see a lot of people in the chat saying this, and people say this to me, I don't try to list too many because Netflix has so much stuff. So I kind of limit what I talk about in each of these so I don't repeat myself too often. So if I didn't say one of those, that's why. Finally, I'll say Kung Fu Hustle is on there. It's been a while since I've seen that cool Stephen Chow attitude. And I know he did The Mermaid, which was a huge hit, but I kind of prefer his, Kung Fu Hustle, Shaolin Soccer stuff. And I just remember being so into those when I saw those at the time. And then finally, although I have not finished Midnight Gospel, I've been sort of watching it as I go to bed, and it really relaxes me. I really find it really great so far. So I don't know when a review will be out because I'm sort of watching it very slowly, but I would really recommend Midnight Gospel. I really love it. So, and now let's get to SinRam's recommendations, and I know he's going to have some good ones, so let's take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Scott, and I'm very pleased to be on Jim's channel recommending some Netflix films for you. I wanted to talk about a few Netflix exclusive movies that aren't on DVD and weren't in theaters. I Am Mother is a science fiction movie in which an artificially intelligent robot, which is voiced by Rose Byrne, has raised a teenage girl from birth in this underground bunker because there's been some calamity that happened outside. But then a human woman played by Hilary Swank, shows up at their door and says, hey, outside's not so bad. I live in a cave community with some other people. It's nice there. You, little girl, you should come live with us instead of in this bunker with this robot. And since the girl's been raised from birth by this robot and only knows what the robot has taught her, she doesn't know who to believe. It's interesting. Then we have Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. This is a docudrama about Ted Bundy. It's directed by Joe Berlinger, who did a lot of documentaries. Ted Bundy's played by Zac Efron. And there's also a woman named Elizabeth Kendall, played by Lily Collins. Elizabeth Kendall was in a relationship with Ted Bundy for many years during the 70s, before and during his incarceration and his trials for multiple murders. She wrote a book called The Phantom Prince that it's based on. The film is based on. And I also watched a documentary called Have a Good Trip, which is about psychedelics, LSD, magic mushrooms, peyote, stuff like that. There's a lot of interesting famous people that give interviews about their experiences. People like Sting and A$AP Rocky, Rosie Perez, Anthony Bourdain and Carrie Fisher both shot interviews for this documentary before they passed away, and their stories are the subject of reenactments or animated segments. So although there's some educational value in the film, it's mostly just entertainment. It's mostly just funny stories about people having weird experiences while they were as high as all get out. I'd also like to talk about a couple of regular theatrical movies that are on Netflix right now. My favorite film of 2014, Under the Skin, with Scarlett Johansson as an alien. And my favorite film of 2016, Hell or High Water, which has Ben Foster and Chris Pine as brothers robbing banks so they can save their property from foreclosure by the bank. Jeff Bridges is the lawman hunting them down. 5 interesting movies to check out on Netflix if you're so inclined. Thanks very much again to Jim for letting me appear on his channel. Take it easy.
I would very second that on Hell or High Water. It's a great movie. Please check out SinRam's channel. You should subscribe to him. He has a lot of great stuff on like the summer blockbuster summers of Movie Pass, which he sums up in a great way. You should check that out and subscribe to his channel, as well as see the sad story about how he missed the show on his birthday. You can check out that video as well. So, but thank you very much, SinRam, for helping me with the Netflix recommendations this month. And I hope I was able to find you something to watch during this crazy quarantine life that we are currently